Hi, my name is Jennifer Chu, and I'm the founder of iCare Physical Therapy. And I wanted to take a few minutes to kind of address what's going on in the world and with this coronavirus and what it's bringing up for so many of us. I know it's bringing up a lot of fear. The news is really talking a lot about um, what's going on and the death rates and how virulent the strain is and how it's spreading everywhere, and we're all in reactive mode, right? We're watching universities shut down. We're watching sporting events being played without participants. We're told to not be in an environment with more than X number of people. Um, there's no toilet paper at Target. There's no hand sanitizer. And I get it. It's scary what we're hearing and what we're seeing on the news and the conversations that are going. But the truth is, being in a fearful place is not going to help the situation. In any situation, we can either choose love or we can choose fear. And when we choose fear, it actually physiologically affects our bodies, and it makes us more susceptible to pathogens and things like viruses. And it doesn't feel very good. So I'd like to offer everybody some thoughts on how our nervous system works and a few quick tips that we can do to help calm our nervous system. And just some practical tips. So we have something called our autonomic nervous system, and this is the part of our nervous system where we don't have conscious control. This is not where the brain comes down with our spinal cord and tells our limbs what to do, and information coming back from our limbs about what's going on in our environment. But this is the stuff that's happening in a completely unconscious, subconscious level. And there's three major parts of our autonomic nervous system. There's what we call the social engagement part. Traditionally, this was known as the tend and befriend, or the rest and digest part of our nervous system, where you're feeling pretty good. You're feeling pretty calm. You're able to connect with others. You're able to be socially engaged. And during this time, when our nervous system is in this state, our organ function tends to work in a really functional and healthy way. So our digestion's working, our bowel and bladder system's working, and overall, we're in a pretty healthy state. Then there's a state known as the fight or flight, or traditionally known as the sympathetic nervous system state. And this is where something in our environment causes our nervous system to feel like we're in danger. So right now, many of us are actually stuck in a fight and flight type of state. And this is where our nervous system is really tends to be more hypervigilant. We tend to be more aware of our surroundings. We tend to have anxiety and nervousness, and maybe we're not sleeping as well. Maybe we're noticing we're having butterflies in our stomach, and we're having anxiety, and we're not feeling very good, and maybe our digestion isn't working as well. And this is a state where traditionally, if something dangerous were to come into our environment, we're ready to fight, we're ready to flee, we're ready to run. So, that blood flow is really more out in our extremities than it is toward our digestive system. And then there's another state known as the freeze state, where if our nervous system senses that there's a life or death situation, where we actually feel like we're in a life or death situation, our nervous system can get into a state where we evolutionarily, kind of like reptiles play dead, our nervous system puts us in this freeze state, and we can often get stuck in this state. We can't really function really well playing dead. So what we tend to do is we tend to dissociate. We tend to not be aware of what's going on in our body, and are completely not embodied, not feeling those physical and emotional experiences that are occurring. We tend to get caught up in our mind thoughts in particular. And in this state, for sure, many of us have problems with things like constipation and IBS. And I know a lot of our population deals with these things. What's interesting is, depending on what state our autonomic nervous system is in, we tend to view the world from that filter. So if we're feeling pretty good, we're in that social engagement, that which is actually known as the ventral vagus part of the polyvagal theory, which is the theory that a man named Stephen Porges has been researching for 40 years. When we're in that state, you can think of that as like a green light state. We're really pretty good to go. If, however, our nervous system has us in more of a yellow light state or a fight and flight state, then we're viewing the world from that filter. So what we're able to take in is taken in from a place of I'm in danger. So, you know, if we're watching the news and we're getting triggered by what we're seeing, what we're taking in is only going to feed that fight and flight, anxiety, fearful state. And if we're in more of that red light, if you're using that red light, yellow light, green light analogy, we can really get stuck. And it takes a lot to pull us out of that red light zone where we literally have our nervous system actually feels that we could die. And we need a lot of positive resourcing and a lot of safety to be able to pull us out of that. So if your nervous system is stuck in a red light state, then, you know, doing something that's going to feed that fear, feed that idea that we're going to die, is going to feel extremely strong and extremely uncomfortable, and is going to be extremely triggering. So my offer to you is to maybe curtail those things that tend to put you in more fight or flight or at freeze state. Let's step away. We want to stay informed, of course, but let's step away from what causes us more fear. And let's turn towards what feels safe, what feels good, some positive resources. Let's turn towards love. So in these times, it is even more important that we do what we can to feed ourselves and our souls and our bodies and our emotional parts of us in really kind, loving, positive ways. Now, my offer is, are you willing to make a commitment to yourself where every day you find and give yourself some kind of positive resourcing, right? It could be 10 minutes a day, it could be a half hour, it could be 2 hours. What are you able and willing to give that feels doable for you? And make that commitment that is livable and doable. And you could always add more. So if, you know, a half hour seems like it's just overwhelming, maybe you start with 15 minutes. And if you find that you have more time that day, you could always add it in. Or if an hour feels doable, that's wonderful. So what do I mean by positive resourcing? By positive resourcing, I mean anything that feels good, anything that's fun, anything that brings light, excitement, joy, love to your life. So for me, it could be playing with one of my daughters and tickling them and hearing her laughter. Being in nature is a really big one for me. So for me, I have a nice path that I can walk down. I can sit by my lake. I can stand in my yard with my feet barefoot in the grass and really feel the earth's nurturing energy pulling up from the ground. It could be knitting. It could be cooking. For me, it's not cooking. I don't really love cooking. But for some people, that's really creative and really fun. It could be listening to you know, a YouTube video or a podcast that lightens your soul or brings you joy or makes you laugh. It could be texting with a friend or calling a friend. It could be planting seeds for you know, plants and vegetables in a garden. Really anything at all that you can think of that feels good and positive, exciting, creative, joyful is a really wonderful way to resource. Even sitting and feeling and thinking of a relationship that feels loving and positive to you, or it could be, you know, a family member or a pet that you just love so much that gives you that unconditional love, a memory of just like the perfect day or a perfect afternoon, or a vacation where you know spent time at a place that feels nurturing and nourishing to you, like the beach or you know the mountains, and being in that memory. If you're going to sit in that memory, you know, close your eyes and actually imagine being in that place. So feel, if you're in like at the beach, for example, feel the sun on your body, feel the temperature of the air, of the gentle, cool breeze, smell the ocean air, the freshness, the salt air, the humidity. Feel your feet in the sand and the little particles all over and the warmth that it brings you. Hear the sounds of the ocean and the waves crashing in front of you. Or if you're on a, you know, on a boat, whatever it is, actually bring in your five senses to make that more real and more memorable and to your body. What we think about actually does physiologically affect what goes on in our body. So if we get caught up in a ruminating, obsessive, anxiety type thought, that will actually, that those thoughts alone can actually activate your autonomic nervous system to go back into that fight, flight, or freeze state versus staying in that more open, connected, socially engaged, and calm state. So if you start to notice that your body is feeling these feelings, can you bring yourself back to the present, connect with your body, and maybe just think of a positive resource that you can do? The more we allow ourselves to become aware of when we are in these yellow light and red light nervous system states and away from the green light, the more we can turn towards that light, turn towards the positive, and give ourselves these gifts, the healthier our bodies are. Our immune system is incredibly tied in with what happens with our digestive tract. So when I talk about how when we're on fight or flight or when we're in freeze and how that affects our digestion, that also will literally have a physiological effect on your immune system. So I also turn to offering you the idea of what can you do to help your digestive tract be as healthy as possible. What are you putting in your mouth? What are you eating? You know, processed foods, things that cause inflammation. If you notice that you eat something and you're feeling bloated, you're feeling sluggish, you're not feeling very good, maybe that's something you don't want to put in your body when it's a really important time to have a strong immune system. If we start to pay attention to how our bodies react to certain situations, things that we eat, things that we drink, experiences, people we're around, our bodies are constantly giving us messages. And the more attuned we are to our bodies, the more information it can give us. So my offer is to look at what you're eating and drinking. Again, can you add in things that we know are good, right? Healthy, organic fruits and vegetables, vegetables and fruits from all different colors. Can we take away sugar? Sugar is such a big one, isn't it? Oh my gosh, it's so big for me. Alcohol, caffeine, you know, the whole 30 diet is actually a really great idea in way of choosing what we eat. You know, any processed foods at this point is not helping us. The truth is that the standard American diet is not a healthy diet. And with the standard American diet, we're traditionally getting in only 10 to 15 grams of fiber a day. Whereas in reality, we need 25 to 35 grams of fiber for digestion to work in a healthy way, for us not to be constipated and to help things move through. So What are you getting? Can you do something simple like add chia seeds or ground flax to your diet? Um, a lot of people actually have a lot of food intolerances, and you can certainly try like an elimination diet, which I have a lot of my patients do for 3 to 4 weeks. You can go pretty hardcore and take out sugar, soy, dairy, gluten, and oh my gosh, I can't think of the other one. There's one more that's a biggie. Sugar, soy, dairy, gluten. It'll come to me. For 3 to 4 weeks, and then see how your body feels. It's pretty hardcore. I know that's not easy to do. Oh, corn. Oh yeah, corn's a hard one. So yeah, corn's the last one. If you can think about taking that out, all those things for 3 or 4 weeks, if you're having digestive issues, then see how you feel, right? Maybe you do a diary of your symptoms before for a few days and do a diary for your symptoms after for a few days and see if there's a difference. Are you less bloated? Are you able to go to the bathroom? Are your stools a little more full, a little less pebble-like? Are you drinking enough water? Really, at this point, it is really important for us to stay hydrated. So a couple other quick tips. For those of you who know me, know that your breath is something that I think about a lot. Using the diaphragm, which is a big dome-shaped muscle at the base of our ribs, is the big breathing muscle that we're ideally using when we breathe. Many of us are taught to use these small little muscles in our chest and in our neck, and we're shallow chest breathers. That actually, if we're doing that kind of breath with our breathing, tends to activate that fight and flight and or freeze state of our nervous system. So slowing the breath down, having a nice, non-forceful, easy, full breath in. Think of your lungs as balloons. And when that diaphragm descends down, it literally sucks the air into those lungs as those lungs fill in a 3D manner. So yes, it is true that the abdominal contents tend to come out, but we're not forcing the belly out. It just naturally comes out. You will feel your ribs come out to the sides like a bucket handle, and you may feel even your chest opening up to the front and back as well if you're really engaging and using that diaphragm and filling your lungs. But it's non-forceful through the nose. You can take a pause as long as it feels comfortable between the inhale and the exhale. And then I want you to slowly actually have an active intention of gently, slowly prolonging that exhale. That longer exhale is activating to that ventral vagus nerve, which helps improve the social engagement part of our nervous system to regulate the rest of the autonomic nervous system. And again, having a pause at the bottom of the exhale and inhaling when your body wants that oxygen. The more you do this, the more that will physiologically calm the autonomic nervous system. And it will help in particular with fear and anxiety. Adding humming, the vibration of that sound in the back of your throat is extremely activating to that ventral vagus nerve as well. So it doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be crazy. You don't have to have this perfect tone. Lord knows I do not have any kind of singing voice or perfect tone, but it is particularly when you do that with the breathing, incredibly calming to the autonomic nervous system. So I invite you to just try a few with me. I'm going to go ahead and do it. We're going to take a nice, slow, deep breath in. And when you hum out, feel the vibration in the back of the throat. And I want you to visualize that vibration going down your spine, all the way to your tailbone, and grounding into the chair that you're sitting in, or if you're lying down. Let's try it. Take a nice, slow, deep breath in, filling your lungs, letting the diaphragm move, and hum. It allows for a nice prolonged exhale with the vibration. And again, inhale. And one more. Remember to feel that vibration. Feel it go down the back of your throat, down your spine to your tailbone. Inhale. Take note how you feel. You feel just a teeny bit more calmness. If you do, imagine doing this for 5 minutes or 10 breaths. This is just a little bit of control that you can take back. So to recap, stepping away from things that cause more fear and anxiety and turning towards things that bring you light, love, joy, excitement, and creativity. Any kind of positive resourcing. And I really do invite you and offer you to make a commitment to yourself that you are worth it, to make a commitment to giving this as a gift to yourself every single day, whatever time commitment you can do. You can use diaphragmatic breathing with a slow, gentle, prolonged inhale, but even a longer, prolonged exhale in and out of the nose, with a pause between breaths. You can try the humming together with the exhale. And I want you to also be aware of your diet. Are you hydrated? Are you getting enough fiber? Are you eating processed foods that will cause an inflammatory response in your body and affect your gut? Remember, your gut health very much affects what's going on with your immune system. So if you tend to have an immune system that's not very strong, I strongly encourage you to talk to someone and get some advice on that. I hope that you found this helpful. I know that this is a pretty scary time for a lot of us, but we're here for you at ITR Physical Therapy. If you have any questions, you can email me at jen.chu@itrphysicaltherapy.com. Or visit our website, www.itrphysicaltherapy.com. And we're here for you. Take care.